being a team leader, whatever it is, it's all about relationships with yourself. Most important thing, staying connected. What's your name, dude? Jim? Tim. Tim! Like Tiny Tim. That works out. Tim, that's mint backwards. Do you know that? And that's Matt.
That's me in my second class of a 6-week program at the San Francisco Comedy College. I've always had an interest in stand-up comedy, and so for my senior project, I decided to get out and actually do it. So there I am. This film is to document my journey into this entertainment art.
There's a false wall of fear there, that you think all these horrible things are going to happen if you get up and look stupid in front of people, because it really puts you kind of like on the edge. You know, I mean, life can be real comfortable when we're in our cars, and we're at our desks, and we're at home, and hey, we see our friends and everything. But then to just step way out of that comfort zone and go stand in front of a bunch of strangers and try and be funny. I've done comedy a bunch of times, and I've bombed on stage a number of times. And I doubt that any of the people that were sitting there are still thinking about the time that I bombed.
Back in my day, we used to have these people called the homeless. But ever since the great recycling of 2021, they just make up the streets. So now if you drop your change, you're helping somebody out.
So for my senior thesis, you know, I've always loved comedy, and I've always, you know, wanted to get out there and tell jokes. And, you know, I likened it to that of being a rock star. Except instead of having crazy cocaine parties with a bunch of groupies, I'd be taking the bus home with a bunch of drunken businessmen.
I wanted to stretch myself. I wanted to press into this public speaking thing that I felt like I was doing, that I was going to do, and I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. I wanted it to be fun. I want to talk about something that matters to me, and that I'm passionate about, and that I think is stretching and growing, so that I can get up. And it was very much that. It was very much that. It was. So what I did was I had a friend who had said he was taking some comedy classes at the San Francisco Comedy College, and they have a chap. You know, they come down here once a week for classes in San Jose. So.
Beginning classes provide a safe environment for people to suck in the beginning. People who've never done comedy before can come out and learn how to write material, learn how to deal with stage fright, do rehearsal techniques, work with points of view, improvisational skills, characters, the whole gamut. Also, if you're a more experienced comedian, we still have people who come in like that too, people who are regular performers, and there's always something to learn, and
So it's called the San Francisco Comedy College, but I kind of feel like that's a misnomer, because it's more really just like a small purple room on top of like the 7th floor of this building in the city. You know, we'd have to leave at like 5:30, take the train up, take a car, get home by 10, you know. It's a big time commitment, but, you know, in the end I think it's useful for something.
all walks of life. We've had everybody. We've had priests, strippers, senior citizens, young kids, male, female, transgender, gay, straight, black, white, Latino, Asian, just everything. I mean, comedy is kind of like this great equalizer. You know, people either were curious about it, they always wanted to try it. Some people want to do this professionally, some people want to enhance their speaking skills at their jobs. But yeah, a lot of people just, they come in, they just want to experience what it's like.
When we first started class, my teacher, Curtis, who I'm completely...
That's right. Thank you, Grandma. That's always. They're gonna put her favorite. Yeah. When she dies, we're gonna put her famous quote on her headstone. It's gonna say.
I'm pretty sure that he's like a recovering speed addict or something like that. He's this big guy. Comes into class and he just talks nonstop for like half an hour. He's a very intimidating guy.
Curtis. From what I know, he started doing comedy in 1984. He performed in pretty much every state. He did a lot of performing. He worked with the famous comedian Bill Hicks. They became really good friends. And when Bill passed away, Curtis had this, like, what am I doing with my life? And he got into corporate software. I guess he did that for like 5 years, and according to him, he felt like killing himself after that. Curtis's philosophy is kind of here's the tools, take what works for you, and leave the rest behind. Because in the end, it's all stage time. It's just getting up, feeling confident, about getting on stage.
But I found out through the whole process that I play a lot off of other people. Like they'll say something and I'll make a wisecrack, or somebody will be talking about something and I'll chime in and make them laugh. But that's completely different sense of humor from doing stand-up and creating it all yourself. That's a whole nother animal. And so it was a great challenge.
First time we come into class, he's like, what is comedy, And what makes people laugh? And what he was saying basically is, you come up with an idea, you start telling a story, and then
like you set something up, and then you cut right through it and hit him with a punchline, And
so as an example to the basic joke structure, Curtis liked to tell this joke, So I hate taking the bus in the city. There's always that guy at the front of the bus who's, completely disheveled, a snot coming out of his nose, he's foaming at the mouth, he's cussing, he's holding his dick in his hands, and he's always asking everybody for money. Can you believe they hired that guy? So anyway, the premise, I hate riding the bus. The setup, telling us a little about why he hates riding the bus, and the punchline, I can't believe they hired that guy. And that's just his example for basic joke structure, and it also gives a little insight into Curtis' character.
It's challenging to write material. Even Seinfeld will say, if you come up with 10 things you think are funny, if one of them hits, you're doing well. And that's hard to buy, because you come up with something, you're like, that's funny, that is good, that's funny, and then you say it out loud, and people are just like.
So, about 40% of my ideas, or rather more like 80% of my ideas, come to me while I'm in the shower. Just when you're completely by yourself, those moments where you're just thinking about everything that's going on in your life, and you just pick and choose certain things that you want to extrapolate into jokes. And the way you do that is, you have an idea, how can I make this funny? And, you have a story that you want to tell. And you can't just, tell a story.
And everything is about how you go about saying it and how you set it up and being quick to it. People want punchlines, right away.
Over the course of the last 5 weeks, this is week 4, but over the course of these weeks, we've given you all these different ways to create laughs in front of people. Last week we argued, is that correct? We had our argument, or are we doing that at the beginning of this class? Do you remember arguing with the character? You did not. We read it. Excellent. That's what we're going to do tonight.
Well, really the preparation for everything just comes from, just running through your jokes, just talking to myself at home, going up to a friend like, hey, do you think this is funny? Run through a joke. If they don't like it, whatever. If they do, that's great. You go up on stage, try to perform it, nobody laughs. You can change something, try it again, try it again and again and again and again. And eventually, you get something that works. But getting to that point can be kind of trying because, you're not sure if you want to keep running with a joke or if you just want to trash it and come up with a new one. I had a bunch of ideas that never even made it to the stage because I really didn't have enough time to do that many open mics.
And then the cool thing was that they booked you for your grad show at the Improv in San Jose. So you're up on a premier stage where you'll see on Comedy Central. And there was, I think my first time up, there was probably 60, 70 people in the audience. 25 of them were my family,
So they give you, at the end of the advanced class, they give you a bunch of tickets to sell for your show that they put on. And they basically just put you in this small room where you can invite all of your friends and you get 7 minutes on stage, and you're supposed to exhibit basic marketing skills where you try to sell your tickets to your friends and make some cheap money for some cheap laughs. So in conclusion, I guess what I got out of this was, I got to do something that I've always wanted to do that I was completely unsure about, and I just went out and did it. It took the push of the senior thesis project to actually get around to doing it, but, I went through with it. And I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about comedy and what those professional comics have to go through every day. And in the end, it turned out all right, and it was a lot of fun.